last list that I did only resulted in a minor amount of crying on mine. So I guess that means I'm officially the master of list making. Move over, Rob Pearson. There's a new list maker in town, and this one's not bald. Yet. Anyways, I've been thinking for a while about a handful of games that I didn't really know how to bring them up. So instead of being clever or, bringing the work of making videos about them, I'll just go throw them all together into a short list because I can't be bothered to do actual. So here's my list of the top 10 hidden gems of video. Part 1. Oh yes, I am going to be known for this. Now, in truth, I realized the last 5-point video I did was a little over 10 minutes, and I just kind of want to keep them around that same mark, so yeah, I personally wish I'd done a top 10 on the RPG list, because there's just so many great RPGs for me to get on. So I'll probably try to do a part 2 of that one somewhere down the line. Well, before I start, let me make it clear that these are just the games that I've personally played, so if you don't see your favorite hidden gem, then that means that I either didn't play it, or I disagree with you, and therefore you're completely wrong. So before I dig this hole any deeper, let's start this list. Developed by Megatoon Studios and published by multiple different publishers, depending on where you picked up the game at. Jersey Devil is one of the games that I was most excited for when I was a kid, but it always seemed like nobody else knew that it was even a game. In this platformer for the PS1, you play as the Jersey Devil, who's running through Jersey, trying to thwart the evil Dr. Narv. Now, common review comments were that there were plenty of games already out there like this one. But I always loved this game, especially for the darker aesthetic and how they mix it in with some of the lighthearted enemies. It balances the themes of, the darkness and the light really beautifully, and while yes, it may seem redundant when you look at the wealth of platformers that were out at the time, this game, for me, always stood out, and I believe that it epitomizes the idea of a hidden gem. For a trip back into the nostalgia of my childhood that doesn't get a lot of love, I'm picking Jersey Devil as number 10 on my list. Here is a game that I didn't know about for the longest time, but after a few friends highly suggested it to me, I have to say that it does not disappoint. Developed by Harmonix and published by Sony, Amplitude is a music and rhythm game where you control a ship called a Beat Blaster, and you move along multiple tracks or paths as the music plays, trying to capture all the tracks to complete the songs. And as you can tell from the cover of the box, they took the music very seriously for this game, with artists including David Bowie, Garbage, Pink, Pod, Run Dimk, and more. David freaking Bowie! Having him alone on the game soundtrack should be a reason for you to drop what you're doing and go buy the game right now. But please don't do that. Please, please. Don't do that. I really want you to keep watching this video before buying the game, so please don't go. It gets so lonely here on the internet. Oh, thank you. Okay. I knew I could count on you to stay and keep me company. So, I don't want to go into more about this game. It's just amazing. Pick it up for yourself. If you like Guitar Hero or games like that, but you don't feel like playing with the cumbersome guitar, trust me, you'll love this game. So, let's continue with the list. Shadow of Destiny, or Shadow of Memories as it's known in Japan, was produced and published by Konami back in the days when Konami wasn't hated by all, still made games. It was released in 2001 for the PlayStation 2 and has been ported to both the Xbox and the PSP. The game centers around the protagonist, Eek, Kush, which sounds like a scared German who dies in the very beginning of the game after being stabbed. Oh well, that's short, move on. Game over. No wait, never mind, there is more. Much more. He's resurrected by Homunculus, clever name there, who sends him back to the past, but not to play the shitty games that suck ass. That's a job for a nerd. No, he's sent there to try to figure out a way to prevent his death. Eek! Jumps from the present day to 1980 to 1902, and even as far back as 1584. Yeah, I gotta separate your death by going back years before your parents are even conceived, because, you know, games? This game has 8 possible endings, so there's plenty of replay value. The gameplay is pretty simple, and the puzzles, to me, they're intriguing enough to keep playing from beginning to end. I'd say more, but you really should play this for yourself, because it's such a story-driven game, so I don't want to ruin any plot points for you. I played it, and I turned out okay, didn't I? Didn't I? Didn't I?
When the night sky fills with glamour, a lovely story awaits you.
You ever feel like life is just stagnating? You feel like you can't move forward? Have trouble sleeping? Keep having the same dream that you're in your underwear climbing blocks to escape and keep from dying?
What are you waiting for?
Well, if you answered yes to these questions, you might be stuck in this game. Developed and published by Atlas, this 2011 puzzle game weaves a story of demons, sheep, and a deranged love triangle between Vincent Brooks, his girlfriend Catherine, and a mystery girl also called Catherine. But it's with a C, so it's different. Catherine, the game, sees Vincent coming to terms with a life that seems to be going off the rails in a hurry, while trying to survive each night in terrible dreams where he has to climb or die. The fast-paced puzzles in this game are difficult but fair, and the story keeps you driving through for just one more puzzle, just so you can get to the next little bit of the story. I don't want to give away too much here, but this game has alternate endings, which gives you a lot of replay value, and it's a fantastic game if you're looking for something a little bit off from pretty much just about everything else out there. Definitely give Catherine a try. Okay, here's the final entry for part 1 of my list, and this one is an absolute must-play. Now, sometimes hailing something as a something else killer is not the best way to get eyes on your product, and sadly, this Final Fantasy killer has become one of Sony's most unloved children. Developed by Japan Studio and published by Sony, Legend of Dragoon hit US shelves in 2000 and was met with relatively mixed reviews. The game begins with Dart, the main character, who is sent on a journey after his hometown is destroyed. Okay, so it's not the most original beginning to a game. I get it. But the game it delves deep into something that kind of becomes a bloated narrative at times. There's a lot more depth to it than what you would think from just the, oh no, his hometown was destroyed. I remember playing this as a teen, and it being one of the most challenging RPGs I'd played up to that time, with battles that were just unrelenting, boss fights that just took forever. Your party will develop the ability to become Dragoons, kind of like the game's name says, in a plot that involves humans versus a race called the Winglies, and a plan to resurrect the God of Destruction. Well, destroy the world? Okay, look. If you like PlayStation 1 era RPGs, this one is well worth checking out, and if you give it the time it deserves, it will grow into one of the most fun, memorable RPGs that you'll play from that era. And this is one of the reasons that I really wish I'd already made another part for my other video, because this game is certainly one of my favorite RPGs from the PS1 era. If you haven't played it or you haven't heard of it, give this Final Fantasy killer a go. Okay, so there's part 1 of my top 10 hidden gems in gaming. Please let me know what you thought of this list so far in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more, click the subscribe to stay notified. And especially since you're watched this far, I'd say that it's safe to assume that you want to know how the list is going to end. Alright, so thank you so much for checking out this video, and I hope you come back for more. This is the Unhinged Gamer, and I'm going back to my padded room.